A while ago, I was competing in one of the biggest game jams of the year. My goal was to make it to at least top 100 so that my game would be featured on the voting stream. I even coded this whole AI for it to give me wacky ideas, and the game was genuinely fun to play. But literally at the end, when I was supposed to, make the game look good, I did such a terrible job that it basically ruined the whole jam for me. And I'm tired. I'm tired of people calling my game simple like I didn't pour my heart out. You really think this is supposed to look like this? This is why I decided to do something that nobody has ever done before. I need to make a 2D platformer. Oh no. My hope is that if I make such a basic game like a platformer, if it doesn't look good, there's literally nothing saving it. So, I started a new project with no idea what the name was gonna be, so I just left it as project. And then very quickly I realized that I have no idea what I was doing. I tried making movement the way I always do with forces, and instead of something high energy, it felt more like I was trying to push a shopping cart with 3 tons of cement in it. Not very agile, but why? In 2D games, there are these things called acceleration curves. They say how quickly the player can get up to speed and how quickly they stop. With just these two variables, you can have either a snappy and light feel, a heavy and sluggish, or somewhere in the middle. This is pretty much the only thing you need to know about 2D movement, but it's getting those two values correct that makes your game unique. That being said, I still don't have any of that in my game, so I then made a new game called Project 2, and using my newfound knowledge, I began work. My game is gonna be an action platformer, aka a 2D fighting game, so I'm gonna use the shorter acceleration curve to make my game feel snappy and fast. But just shapes in my game won't do, so I hopped on Photoshop and began making the player. And yeah. Since I appear to be inept in making 2D characters, I'll make them in Blender and then make them look 2D using a shader. You might say that cheating, and yeah. So I sketched out a random guy and a boss with a computer for a face, a design that has never been done before. And for the enemies, I wanted to go for these guys in suits, but realized that there's way too much detail. So I took a way better approach of just bashing a bunch of shapes together. Here's the enemies I made. I don't know, I just kind of placed random stuff and I made this eye. And this is meant to be like the base enemy, and he's just meant to kind of like beat you up. Then I have this guy, he's not painted, but he has the same eye. And here's a really cool drone I made. It also has the eye, and it's just a drone, and it's gonna shoot you with his gun. And here's a turret. I keep just placing these eyes everywhere. And lastly, here's the boss. He's just a computer guy. But anyway, I'm gonna have to animate them all now. I don't have any animations done yet. And there's a lot, mostly for the boss, but yeah. And so I did. I spent what felt like days animating each character one by one. And, with the vast and expansive game development knowledge I have, I'm sure there was absolutely zero issues of putting all of that into the game. Can you guess what happened? Huh? Wait, what? Huh? Is each limb an animation clip? Oh my god. Oh. No, what the fuck? Each object is its own animation? What do I do? There's so many. Can I fix this somehow? No, you can't. Trust me, I tried. I'm looking to change game engines. If you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments. Also a new monitor and a new desk. But eventually I managed to reanimate everything that was broken. But the issues did not stop there. If you remember from 2 minutes ago, the whole point of having the character in 3D so I can later pixelate it. That should be pretty easy. I mean, I have done that 3 times already. So first my plan was to just use the overlay camera method to isolate the player. That did not work. For some reason the render texture just did not want to disappear from either camera. So I then tried shader graphs. But most shader graphs just pixelate the texture, and this would not work for a 3D character. So then I moved back to the render texture and I tried doing this weird 3D movement in a 2D space trick. It did not work. So again, I went back to the shaders, trying to take the limited knowledge I had to try and conjure any good results. You can probably imagine how that went. Yeah, I even went on the official Unity Discord and they basically left me out of the damn building, saying that this is some base level stuff. And literally just before I wanted to re-render everything, this happened. What? Why the fuck would solid color be transparent? Literally, uninitialized. That means there's supposed to be no background. But it's yellow!
And after all of that, after 7 days of non-stop working, all we have is this. And I haven't even begun doing any kind of pixel art. So to maximize efficiency, I opened 30 tutorials at the same time and got the hang of it pretty quick. I made this factory area where most of the game will take place. And here's a tip, if your concrete slabs ever look too flat, there's a really simple thing you can do to make them look better. Just add some cum on it. That really made the colors pop. And to make it feel a bit more alive, I added these vents and TVs and stuff. Then I made this laboratory section that will act as a tutorial with all these like scientific doodads and stuff. And for the boss fight, I was really running out of ideas, so I just went fuck it, here's a big ass moon. And to really tie everything together, I added lights and parallax. And now the game looks pretty good honestly, but it's still barely playable, so it's time for a speedrun. I finally made the grapple work, changed the player animations so now it does different punches, added particles for when you punch or jump, made the enemies walk and damage you. This guy just does this for some reason. Added a drone that is annoying as fuck.
Okay, no, this drone pisses me off. How is this drone still shooting me? I disabled it.
Made more particles for when you're low on health or healing, drew some more background objects, like whatever this is, added basic UI and made the grapple recharge when you kill an enemy. Even more fucking particles, added batteries for recharging your grapple and points you can use to propel yourself with. And finally, added spikes so now you can kill yourself. Honestly, the game is coming along really well, and it's not even taking that long. There's a chance I'll actually get some free time and maybe... What is that? Oh no. That is right. By making all assets by myself, that also includes music. And I don't want to go too much into detail, because I honestly believe this should be a video on its own. For the past month, I've been learning how to create game soundtracks. But the reason I'm telling you this is while I was making music, I thought to myself, hey, you know, I have this perfectly good music program with hundreds of instruments. Why don't I make sound effects using that? And so I did. I made a lot of beeps, and then some boops, maybe even some whooshes.
Ooh. What if this was like you got hurt? It's gonna take so long to make every single sound.
They didn't turn out terribly great, but come on, this was like my first time touching this program, so you can only blame me a little bit. I then made some levels so you can actually play, adding things like these arrows to guide the player in the right direction. And that leaves us with one final thing, the boss fight. As any self-respecting game dev, instead of making a boss fight interesting with multiple movesets, I'm just gonna code in 3 moves and crank up that difficulty. This jump one that will send a shockwave if the player is standing on the ground, a bullet attack because guns are cool, and a rocket launcher, which sadly I did have some issues with. This rocket is also the only way of damaging the boss. You can use your grapple to deflect it back into him. Sadly, there is still a lot more things to do left in this game, but do not worry, I will definitely not have to make a part 2 for this video. I will do everything right now. Wait, what the hell is that behind you?